YouTube. So back to my top 10 guitars, which I think I might have actually gone over 10. Pretty sure I've not done this one before. This is my Washburn A5, 1983, made by Yamaki or Dyna, I think, maybe Tushin, we don't know. Yeah, so this is the baby of the Stage series. Originally, when Washburn started making electric guitars again, they started off with the the Wing series, Hawk, Falcon, Eagle. Hawk and Falcon were the first two, and then they brought out the Stage series, which were this shape. I have a couple of these. My first addiction to the Japanese guitar thing was my 8-string bass, which is a Stage series. It's a B20, so it's this shape. So this is a bit later. Originally there was only an A10, which is that one there, which I will have to do a video on these. These are kind of out because I've got kind of matching colours. So there's the A10. So we've got rosewood fingerboard. It's a through neck, or it's not a through neck. It's the neck comes in here somewhere. So it's I think you call it a set through neck these days. Although back then it was just called a set neck. Power sustained pickups, 2 volumes, 2 controls, binding. Very nice. This one kind of, it's not unlike that Force. And then you've got, so originally it was just the A10. This is the A20, which I was talking about the other day, the last one I got. So this one is a through neck, even though it looks exactly the same. This one has push pull coil splits, and brass fingerboard inlays and ebony fingerboard. So that's kind of, there's not a huge difference. This is a vibrato one. You can get it with this bridge. There's not a huge difference between the 10, the 20 and a brass nut. So there's a 20, and then later on in 1983, I think they came out. These two came out roughly 79, 80 for those ones, and then by the time it got to 83, they brought out the 5, which is the Telecaster one. It's got a Telecaster control plate on it. The one you see in the picture there is what they normally look like. They've normally got 2 single coil pickups, but I think they maybe had a container load of the power sustain pickups. So the sort of first ones, they were using up pickups. Before we buy more, we'll use up the old ones. So that's why this one's got the humbuckers in it. And there's also a 15, which is kind of like the A10. It's the set neck. This is the only bolt-on one. But it's got 3 single coil pickups and a scratch plate on it, which is kind of a bit odd looking. Yeah, so this one, bolt-on. Maple fingerboard. This is the only bolt-on one, the only maple fingerboard one. But still not really that different from the 10 and the 20, apart from the maple neck. It's got the same pickups, the power sustain pickups. It's got the harmonic lock bridge. This is it's through strung Telecaster style. You've got brass saddles, and then you've got clamps, which one of G&L's guitars does that. So there's like wee Allen keys that go in there. So once you've set your intonation and your action height, you clamp it solid, so it's like a solid block. It's got the same tuners, Gotoh, Washburn branded tuners. So it's really not that different. You know, it's like binding, bolt neck, and a Telecaster control plate. So I suppose technically it's only got a volume and a tone. I have modded this one though. When I got it, it was quite very dirty. I got it off my pal. It's like, I think he bought it and then just sort of never played it and forgotten about it. Sort of like a 20-year-old Ming on it. The volume pot, the tone pot were both knackered basically. So while I was in there, I made them push-pull pots. So these now split into single coil. So that's the neck. Pull it up, single coil, bridge. Pull it up, single coil, volume and a tone, 3-way Telecaster switch. Yeah, so this is actually the second time doing this video, so that's why I'm sort of thinking about what I've said before. I ran out of space, but it wasn't a very good video anyway, so I'm doing it again. This was always going to be on my top 10 list. Maybe I've got a fetish for maple fingerboards. Maybe even to the point I would rather have a bolt-on neck in a maple fingerboard than, well, that one's ebony or rosewood set neck, or rosewood fixed neck, set neck, and then ebony through neck. But this, playing through the wee Blackstar HT5 I've wheeled back through again. I'm going to have to sell one of the amps, I don't know which one. This one doesn't have reverb. sound better clean, and humbuckers sound better with a bit of distortion. So what I've had a bit of a disaster last week. I've been moaning about my rat pedal for. I got it out. I'm going off topic anyway. But my original rat pedal, when I say original, it's a 90s reissue, big box rat pedal. It had a stupid output jack on it. Like the power input was like a small headphone socket, and it was reversed, so you needed its own power supply, which I didn't have. I used to use an old wall wart thing. So ages ago, a couple of years ago, when I realised that you could buy like a power bank and pedals didn't hiss like mad, get a power bank rather than using one of these wall wart things. So I transferred over the output jack, and I made a wee thing, and I got a wee Boss type adapter, put it on, and then the problem with those is it was a wee metal one, because it was the wrong way around. So a Boss pedals normally centre as a negative earth, whereas on the rat it's the other way around. So it was earthing on the casing, so I had to end up having to put lots of insulating tape around it and stuff, which I wasn't really that happy with. And then I decided I would mod it again a few months ago, because it doesn't have a light bulb on it, because back in those days you couldn't get the 9-point switches like this. They've got 9 points on them, so you could only get 6 points, which means that you could either have a light bulb or true bypass. You couldn't get both back in the day. Now you can get these switches for a couple of quid each. So I put in one of these and a light bulb on the top, which worked fine until I realised that the switch was broken, and that was why I had the switch lying there, because I bought a fuzz pedal before with a broken switch and I didn't put it in the bin, which was annoying. So I did that, swapped it over, and you notice every time I was over clicking it, trying to turn it off, I would have to sort of tap it a wee bit to try and get it to disengage properly. So I swapped over the switch. I put in a better power socket. It's like a rubber outside. I put it back together again. It didn't work, and I checked it, took photos and everything. And what had happened was, after a day of thinking I've broken my rat pedal, I tried going back to the Mosky, which is actually one of my bigger hitting videos where I'm comparing the two, and they're both kind of the same. They're not the same, because I went onto the Mosky and it's like, oh no, that's not. Maybe it's because I had lots of pedals on or something like that before. It didn't seem to make that much difference, but the wee Mosky one isn't as good as a real one. It's an untangible, just that much better, but that much better is the difference between, like a decent, well set up guitar, I don't know, like this, compared to a Fender Custom Shop. It's only that much better, but it's that kind of difference. But what I'd done was I'd put the switch in like that and wired it up, and actually the switch went in like that, so it kind of. So now's all's good, and I've got my rat pedal back, and it now works when you stomp on it. Yeah. Neck humbucker. It is really good, isn't it? And yes, one of the things I always do whenever you're playing on the neck pickup, see if you play around about the 12th fret, for some reason it goes woo. That does it everywhere, but yeah, so God, I suppose going through the specs, I've not ever really done it. I think I probably sort of have actually. Yeah, so this looks to be a pancake construction. I can see that just because I gave it a bit of a clean there. It really wasn't very clean. You can sort of see it's like two pieces of wood on top of each other, which was common back in this era. This is also a 3-piece neck with the asymmetrical super Toblerone shape. You can sort of see it there, but it's pure V-shaped, rockingly excellent. Well, if I say 3-piece up to there, and then there's an extra piece on here and an extra piece on here, so it's 3-piece, but with this bit stuck on and with this bit stuck on. Painted headstock. I like a painted headstock, kind of suits this guitar really well. These pickups are Washburn Power Sustain, which according to the guy who made the wings, I know someone who's in contact with him. Is it Hiro-san? His name is. His uncle was the guy that owned Yamaki. They just went to Goto and it's like, what cut pickups do you want for your super new Washburn wings? And they went, what's that in the Ibanez Artist? They went, that's Ibanez Super 70s. So that's what these are, which are pretty much copies of Marshall Super Distortion. Actually, Eddie Van Halen's first he famously uses an Ibanez Super 70 in one of the guitars. I don't know which one. So that's what's in this. So they're basically Super Distortions, and as I said, I've coil split them. So I'm maybe trying a wee bit of a jam. Okay, now this, you've noticed that this my new Washburn 4-space is exactly the same shade of red, same year. So I might put a wee bit of put a wee loop in. Put some Washburn Force bass on it for the red section, and then if it's still daylight, I'm going to go out and take some photos of this and that being like that pair. The red, if I'm in a red mood, and then the Force 8 and the A10, which are both exactly the same shade of blue, might be quite an arty photo. I was thinking. I put in Clean as a backing track. I put in Governor. Not play an F and an E instead of an F. No faffing about on the bass without any gap at all in the playing. Both in single, probably my favourite sound. Has getting towards the ridiculous sustain that the Wings series have. So we're sitting there, the Wings series, like the most sustainy guitar I've ever had, apart from one that's got a sustainer in it. So you've got like Thru Neck, 5-piece Thru Neck, brass nut, the power sustain pickups and the harmonic lock bridge through strung. All these things add to sustain. This one has the bridge and the pickups, so I think that's a fair bit about it, but it really makes that much difference whether it's a through neck or a bolt on neck. In many ways, a bolt on neck I prefer because it means you can adjust things. You know, things, if your bridge is too low, you can shim the neck, which you can't do on a set neck or a through neck, which is really annoying. So quite often I see guitar, I would always tend to, when I'm buying guitars to do up for bucky cast and stuff, try and get bolt on ones because one, they're a bit cheaper, and two, if something's wrong, it's fixable. I bought a Les Paul Junior. No, would you call it a Junior? I don't know. You couldn't call it a Junior. I think it was a copy of Buckethead's one or something like that. It was like a white Les Paul Custom with just a single pickup in it. And I bought that in China, and the neck had been put on wrong because it was a set neck, and basically the neck was just sitting at an angle like that, which you could compensate for, you know, because it was a tunematic bridge, so you could just put the bridge at an angle like that, and then you could tilt the pickups to be at an angle like that. But that's why I was buying Telecasters. Telecaster, the necks are in the wrong place. You could take it off, sand it a bit, put it back on again in the right place. So I sort of returned that guitar. Yeah, so the stage series are awesome. A really, really weird and ugly shape. Because I remember when I bought the B28, the 8-string bass, it really was, how that had the shape's just hideous, but no, I like it. You just get used to it. I always thought it looked like someone had sawed off that bit. It should be like a pointy thing. It's it's not un-BC Ritchie, I don't think. The thing I like about this bit though is it matches a headstock. You do get other Washburns that have this headstock. Some of the later Force series, when they stopped looking like that, I think they were using up old necks, to be honest. This on a sort of strap body, and it's like... So this headstock on this shape body, rocking because it's the headstock for this, whereas if you put that on something else, there's also a flying V they made in Japan, but you don't see them very often over here, and it's got that headstock, and it's like flying V with that headstock. No. So I'm going to continue cleaning this, and I will be doing a Washburn stage video because I've now got 4 of them. 4 of them? No, 5 of them. I've got one I should really sell. I've got a white one that's got a collar in it. Again, it's like, what's with being unable to be holding a guitar and mention tremolo, or a collar, or a Bigsby, or a Floyd Rose? It just can't. I can't do it without doing that. So it's like, yeah, it's got a collar in it, which I've never really worked out. Didn't like. But this is my favourite of the stage, even though it's the cheapest one and it's the least good, I suppose. But the quality's still there, and the simplicity just seems to be. It also doesn't have the tone plastic around the edges of the body or around the edge of the neck. You can't see the tone plastic edges to the neck on the black one because it's black. So you've got an ebony fingerboard, black binding, and painted black neck. So it's like, yeah, it's binding, but you can't see it. What does it sound like with that fuzz pedal on, actually? I do like that Delamo cheap fuzz. So the chances are I'll be playing this on tomorrow night's live stream, or I might play the blue one, the A10. The only reason I've got 2 A10s, by the way, is because the white one I bought in a terrible condition. But I've been looking for one for years and years. Basically, I wanted an A20 that looked the same as my 8-string bass. Incidentally, there was a 4-string bass version of my 8-string bass went yesterday on eBay, and it was like starting at £100. Had a reserve on it. I think it ended up going for 500, something like that, which I think was a pretty good buy for somebody. I was expecting it to be more 800-900 quid. The 8-string one's not worth as much money because people are scared of 8 strings. Not many people are mad enough for the 8-string. Also, it's kind of useless in any band unless they're really, I don't know. I used it one time going into the Kraken House when the bass player couldn't make it. So it's kind of that. As long as you don't mind, as long as the guitarist doesn't mind not having any space at all because you're taking up the entire frequency range, 8-string bass. So this is lovely, and the V necks are just amazing. Ideally, I'd like the principle. My Force 3 guitar has a V neck, but it's got a 1-piece. This is a separate fingerboard. We did have a discussion about whether this made a difference. This guitar might have actually made it out into that video. Someone in the comments was saying you could tell the difference. Listen to it. I don't even know if I can tell the difference between like ebony and rosewood and thing. I mean, looking at it, you can tell it's not ebony because it's light coloured. It's also got really annoying. Whoever it was that had this before me really liked that note. So there's a bit of apart from that scuff, but obviously it's been this all the time. It's actually in really good condition. A few wee dinks on the outside, but nothing major. And ultimately a fantastic guitar and a little bit different. So well worthy in my top 10. I suppose it probably means none of the other stages can make it into my top 10. Well, the 8-string bass has to, really, doesn't it? Because it's the best guitar in the world ever. But as I said, I got digressed again. I was talking about the white one. I bought it. I was looking for an A20 with the tiger top and stuff like that forever. Never found one. When I did see them, they go for thousands of pounds because they look pure amazing. And I eventually found an A10 that was kind of basically the same sort of thing, but a set neck, didn't have the brass on it and stuff. And I got it, and I had single cup. It had been abused to bits. It was horrible. Managed to get it working, and then about 2 weeks after I'd finished it, it was like popped a mint condition blue one for cheap. So I had to buy that one, so that's why I've got 2 of them. The problem is white's my favourite colour of guitar. It's like kind of hard to get rid of it. I will need to dig it out though. I totally fell out with the colour. But now I've got the Blade Runner that's got a colour in it. I kind of understand it a bit more, so I might work out something to do with it. Anyhow, see you tomorrow night, the live stream, 8 o'clock. I've already got my bucky. I was at the shop earlier on, I thought I might as well buy it just so I don't have the panic of what happened last week where it's like they didn't have any bucky. Like, you don't have bucky? And I had to pay, 2 weeks ago, and I had to go to the other shop, which is like 100 metres further away, where the bucky's £1 a bottle more. It's £7.25 in the wee co-op and £8.25 in the other co-op. But that is cheaper than driving to Kirky to get it, which I've had to do before. So I'm going to basically spend the rest of this afternoon playing this, because this guitar is awesome. And this will be going into the studio with me next week, I think. And that so's that fuzz pedal. I'm getting much happier with my pedal board layout. The rat pedal's staying. Love it. The wee Black Star's sounding phenomenal, actually. When I first plugged it in, it was like pure, nah. I don't know, it's not, it doesn't have, I was using Scott's big Ibanez thing, and it's just because it's bigger is better. It's only 5 watts, but you start using the rat pedal, it sounds really good. I think I might turn to, well, that's not the rat, that's that wee Delamo fuzz pedal, which is kind of not actually unlike the rat, apart from a bit more fuzzy. I think I'm going to have to go down and fidget with the knobs on the Governor though, because right. God, that's making me go out of tune. But I was watching the JHS pedal show. That guy, Josh, talking about the original Marshall pedals, and apparently the Governor is kind of like a rat. It's like, why have I got 2 rats set up? To me, I don't think it is. I'm going to kind of set that for a bit less gain. Seems it's a bit too distorted, I think. But that's the problem I've got with him having so many bloody guitars. It's like switching through them. It's like there's no way that those pedals and that amp are going to react the same to this with super distortions as they will to like the Strat or something. You know, it's like when it's low output vintagey pickups. It's like I kind of almost want to have 2 banks of pedals and a switch between them. Doesn't actually sound that. Yeah, I could maybe have 2 banks of pedals with a loop pedal in it, so I can like have like, oh, we're on vintagey Stratty single coily type thing. Here's a distortion pedal and a fuzz pedal, and then I've got, oh, we're using a high powered output humbucker thing. Here's a different distortion pedal and a different thing. It's unfortunately my twin note Pi isn't in the circuit just now, and I really like it. So it does make my pedal board, if I put that in, which I kind of want to, it means my pedal board consists of a tuner, the Governor, the rat, a fuzz, and that. It's just like there are basically 4 fuzzes, sort of. Or rock on, see you tomorrow night.